Right, hi guys. Thank you for joining me on this sort of financial advisor marketing Q&A session. Kind of just wanted to put this session together just for it to be a very open session to ask any questions you have in regards to the marketing in the space. So I'm Hitesh Mistry. I'm the owner of a company called L2W Digital. We specialize in sort of building lead generation systems for the financial services space. We've got clients mainly in the UK, but we serve kind of people globally as well. For those on the call, can you guys first of all hear me? If you can just put a yes in the chat, that'd be great. Great, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Isaac. Okay, so I'll presume that's a yes. So the format of the session today, so there's been a few people that have submitted their sort of questions to me already. Some of those people can't join the call today, and I think one of the reasons for doing the webinar this time is just to see sort of availability of people to. So, well, yeah, hopefully you guys will stay to the end. If not, they'll catch you in the recording. If you have any questions sort of throughout the session at the end, if you want to add them on the chat, or actually, if you don't mind speaking, I can actually get you on to talk, and you can kind of do it there and then. So let's just flick this. Can you all see my screen as well, guys? By the way, as well, if you could someone just answer yes, that'd be great too. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some questions which have sort of come through this last week or so regards to this, and let's see how we get on. So the first one, what software do you use to deal with lead flow? I did a campaign and got a good response. Wants to know if you use software to automate reaching out to leads so they can scale up the campaign. Okay, so the main sort of applications we use within sort of our agency or for our clients here are two things. So we use ActiveCampaign. So ActiveCampaign is an email sort of automation and CRM tool. So typically when we do lead generation, we'll ask for name, email, phone number, all those details there. And we'll use something called Zapier to connect this to ActiveCampaign. What we'll then do is trigger sort of two emails. The first email just goes to admin, just to say there's a new lead. Second email goes straight to the contact, just reconfirming the request, if you like. So it's quite surprising how many people forget that they've provided the information, especially if it's done through a lead format, even on a landing page where people have to physically type out their information and yet they forget. And a lot of the time it comes down to where people are in the journey and what else they're doing at the time and how memorable the hook or offer is. So worth testing. And what I then do is then try and drip feed sort of 2 to 3 emails over the course of 7 days, the first 7 days, just to add value, especially if you haven't been able to get hold of them. So I try and focus more on sales process, or what questions or objections or even social proof someone may go through their minds. For those in the EU, if you've got them to opt in and further marketing, you can actually extend that kind of beyond the week. But the week isn't kind of a general rule, but if someone submits their details, it's quite common for some follow-ups to be made by sort of email and phone in the first week. Anything more than that, you'll need to get their permission. We also send text messages too. So when a lead comes in, we send them a text just to acknowledge the request, and someone will be out in touch. One thing I wanted to add actually is when sending the emails out, we make it really clear as to what the next step is going to happen. So we say that someone's going to call on the next business day, even from a particular phone number, and even say that we'll try to reach out until we've got hold of them. But a lot of some of my clients, they've got phone numbers the clients can call, so they could actually call the number or even book an appointment. So I think it needs to test it. It really just depends on the hook or offer, the proposition you've got, and how important it is to the client at the time. I've seen one email work fine, and I've seen sometimes it can take 2-3 weeks to get hold of people. I think that my rule of thumb is unless someone says no, you've just got to assume that they're busy, and you've just got to try and get hold of them. But if you're going to reach out to them, focus on ensuring you use value-added content. So I think, Isaac, I think that one came from you, mate. So let me know if that answered your question. The other automation we kind of also do is there's two things actually. There's retargeting. So when the leads come in, we actually retarget those leads as well with, especially for those that we haven't been able to get hold of, saying, thanks for your inquiry, we're now trying to get in touch with you. And we use Messenger as the marketing objective. So if people are generally busy during the day, we get them to send us a text instead. So even though someone can't pick up the phone because they're at college, at school, at work, they're still going to be on their phone and in their job, and they're more likely to send you a text back. As well, and on the subject of Messenger, you can actually try and use Messenger as a way of lead generation. So use the Messenger objective and ask for the name, email, phone number as part of the bot or the automation. But then you've also got Messenger to follow up with them too. Cool. Yeah, Isaac, let me know if that made sense, and can just let me know in the chat. I can respond to it at the end. Next one. Do you continue to recommend lead forms or prefer surveys for mortgage leads? So I know there's loads of different ways to generate leads, whether it's Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you've got to send someone something, whether it's an online form, to get them to opt in. So the good examples for us are we use lead form ads, we use landing pages, we use messenger bots, and on those landing pages, we do kind of try different things. It all depends on what the lead magnet is. It could be a survey, it could be a quiz, it could be a guide. For me, the format, I haven't seen one particular format work better than the other. I think it really just depends on what type of campaign you're running and what you're trying to get them to do. As long as the output shows value. So if you're going to do a survey or a calculator, it needs to spit out something of value so they're more informed or they've walked away with some level of information. And I guess it needs to have the right amount of questions as well. Only ask for information that you absolutely need there and then. Too long of surveys or quizzes can put people off. I always recommend to focus on what their outcome should be when they opt in. So when people opt in for a guide, they don't want the guide, they actually want the content in the guide that's going to tell them to do something. So if it's around mortgages, you're doing surveys or quizzes, you could kind of do a calculator-based thing, as you've seen on the common bank sites where they do a mortgage calculator. But if you niche down and maybe take the same calculator but then target, say, first-time buyers who work in a certain sector, and find different ways to make it more appealing. There's a reason why these sort of calculators work as well, because they're tried and tested. But sometimes you may just need to find a different angle. In terms of which one I would choose, I'd always start with sort of lead form ads or messenger first. If you keep people on Facebook, they would generally, Facebook should generally give you a cheaper result. Whereas if you go away from Facebook, they'll charge you a bit more for that conversion, and also the lead has got an extra step. But I always recommend to start with the shortest possible funnel where possible. I've seen mixed results across the board. I think there's then for all sectors, for life insurance, mortgages, pensions, wealth management, and it really comes down to how much they want the information at the time as well. So the short answer is test it. I think it's probably the best advice I can give. What about messenger bots and the usage of mortgage leads? How are you using them, and can they be used purely on their own? Simple answer is yes. So Facebook as a platform prefers engagement. It prefers interaction, conversation. And the messenger approach is definitely a softer way to engage with sort of potential leads. One, people don't have to give their details, which can be seen about entry. And two, you can take them down a journey and they could ask questions, and you could even qualify them a lot more before they submit their details. And that's the best bit, really, because you may know what your ideal client looks like, but through Facebook's targeting, you may not know that. So you may need to ask them certain questions, and depending on what questions they ask or the answers they give, you can send them down the certain routes. So you'll only then get leads of people who have gone down a certain path, and you can exclude those. So definitely test it. I've also seen cheaper results through Messenger too, and sort of open and click rates within a Messenger campaign are a lot higher compared to email as well. I think I'm getting sort of Messenger bot open rates for about 97, 98%. I think it comes down to really understanding the target audience. Try and relate that in terms of what you're selling and the journey someone needs to go through to getting to that point. So if you are, saying, offering a mortgage, you've maybe got to try and figure out where they are. Are they just looking? What's their background? Try and be quite general because they are in fact-finding mode at the moment. They are looking to just get some information, really. And then you may decide that actually you only want to deal with remortgages as opposed to first-time buyers. So you can then work those in and actually read out kind of that works. So messenger bots work quite effective. Again, like with sort of lead gen forms, you need to get the balance of number of questions right, and you don't want to send people down a long bot sequence and they just get bored. So it needs to be value adding. But there's a communication method, especially for broadcasting messages. It's a great tool, and I've used messenger bots in all the verticals, and I think they've worked well kind of top of funnels to a cold audience and also for retargeting. So if you get them via email but they've opted in through messenger, you can then send them a message as well. And a lot of the time people don't know it's a bot. So if you try and make it quite personal and try and leverage the personalization aspect of it, so using first name, even trying to take their answers and confirm that back to them, it's going to give them a lot better experience to keep them more engaged. Does that make sense? So again, I think Isaac, that was one of yours. But even actually create the calculator in a messenger bot too. So what you can do is ask them for the basic information, and there will be some logic you can do to spit out the information, or even just get them to provide their email so you can actually send it to them later. So I think the best thing to do is map it out on in a Google Doc or Excel spreadsheet, and then just try and build it. And if you have any questions on that process, I'm in the group, just asking there, and happy to even try and do a demo or walk you through it as well. Fourth one. So what are the best tactics for high quality leads, those that are most likely to convert a hot audience member pack? So quality is a difficult one because it's always going to be based on where someone is in terms of the buying journey of your product or service. Now, if you think about Google, people are already aware and they've already made the decision that they need, say, a mortgage or a pension review or life insurance. So in their mind, they already know that they need it. They just need to go and find the right provider. Whereas Facebook, although the targeting is quite good and we can narrow them down to age, location, demographic, just because they've got the interest down, say someone interested in mortgages, doesn't mean that they're looking for a mortgage. And even if they are, we don't know what stage of the process they're at. So we kind of use the AIDA model for attention, interest, desire, action, or awareness, interest. You first got to try to create awareness first and agitate the problem or the opportunity. And then depending on your lead gen campaign, you've then got to try and qualify them best you can. So sometimes asking them where they are. So if it's a mortgage campaign, when you could say, have you found your property? Where it is in the process? Are you just looking? This way, these leads might give you a better indication of how soon they're likely to close, and you can focus on those hot ones. And that's running to a cold audience. To warm audiences up, you can also kind of run video-based content and value-adding content. So you could run, say, a video ad, just adding value on the top best mortgage products to look for in 2019. And maybe if someone watches 75, 85, 95% of it, you could then retarget them with some other content and then do a lead gen campaign at the end of it. So what you're doing is you're sending them down an invisible funnel, but through Facebook ads. Although the leads will be less, but the leads that you do get at the third or fourth step should be a lot more warmer and more engaged. The other route is to try and get their sort of contact details right at the beginning, but they go down the slowly route. And my experience in this niche is that whenever you're selling something which requires sort of high risk, high trust, high investment, typically more touch points or more trust is required to build that rapport. Unless you've got an irresistible offer where there's like a no deposit mortgage or things like life insurance where people can go through brokers, but sometimes you can go online and just do it. I think you've got to just test it out and see, but always start with the shortest possible funnel. And what I try and say to all my clients is try and generate the leads using a lead format first. Really try and call them, find out how many times you've called them, find out if you can get hold of them first. If you can, what they're saying on the phone. Because you may find that actually you've said one thing in the advert, but they think it's something else that they've forgotten. So you can make small tweaks in the advert or even start sending out emails and start to build it through. If the contact details are incorrect and you're using lead formats, for example, you may want to switch to a landing page. If people aren't ready to buy, you may need to send them an email sequence and nurture them first for a bit and then give them a call. I think you've just got to think about the process and what you'd go through, or even your existing customers, what they've gone through to get to it. And all that testing, I mean, for my larger clients, they just like the numbers game and they'll hammer the phone until someone picks up. For my smaller clients where it's more about quality, happy to get the lead in and build in longer sequences. If you're for my own lead gen campaigns, the majority of you guys will have come into my world through an ad campaign, and I don't, apart from the first few days, I don't really sell to you after that. I've got you guys into a Facebook group, which is another use of tech guys as well. So if you create a Facebook group and build your authority that way, value, people will come to you when they're ready. And I actually haven't turned that campaign on for about 3 or 4 months now. And a lot of people in my world who have come in, say, 6 or 12 months ago, something's clicked and they're now coming to me. And obviously, you need to make money in the short term, and building a group or your list is a long-term strategy, but kind of really does pay off, and it's done through value as well. So hopefully that was useful. They were the only questions I've had recently, guys. For those on the call, I don't know if you've got any additional questions, if you can add them in the chat, or if you want to speak to me, if you're not too shy, just let me know via the chat and I'll happy to answer them. Okay, thanks, Sizer. What's working best at the moment and what isn't compared to a few months ago? Good question. I think Facebook always rolls out quite a lot of changes in regards to sort of their platform. They're always trying to improve it. I think the methods that I teach and the methods that I use in my agency, kind of warming people up through Messenger and then lead gen campaigns, they seem to have worked and they're fine. I think one thing which I found that there's always going to be new technology, new ways to get in front of your target audience. That's always going to change. There's going to be something new tomorrow. And even Facebook may not be here tomorrow, although it's highly unlikely given the size of them. So I think it really comes down to really understanding your target audience, what their pain points, interests, desires are, and really get to know them, because although the technology may change and the way you market to people may change, their problems, what they need, your ideal demographic isn't going to change unless you change product or service. So I haven't seen any sort of issues. I think with Facebook's always going to become more competitive. Ads are always going to can be expensive and up and down, and Facebook's quite volatile. Unfortunately, things can just stop working tomorrow. So what I recommend is focus on getting one campaign working. So let's say you are promoting mortgages for first-time buyers, get that campaign work up and running. And then once it's working, then maybe think of another way to target first-time buyers, or say it could be a different type of audience. So let's say you target people who've landed their first job, or maybe then try new parents, but then maybe try a different type of campaign to target a different aspect of your business. It's important to have 3 or 4 different ways of targeting people. And I know a lot of these questions have been related to Facebook ads, but if you can focus on one platform first and then sort of look into other channels, but whether it's Google, LinkedIn, working in groups, any sort of marketing, what I try and recommend is that you do something you can get a direct response from. And what I mean by that is measurable. So I only do campaigns where it's either building an audience or I'm generating a lead. Anything where it's generating likes or followers, I don't really worry about, because the vanity metrics and having 10,000 likes doesn't mean you've got 10,000 people that are going to buy from you. So I think whatever you do in any platform, it's just make sure it does deliver a response. Does that answer your question, Isaac? Cool. Is there any more, guys? Cool, go for it. You can, mate, yeah, 2 seconds. I think you're on mute, mate.
All right, that's better. Can you hear me?
I can, mate, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff. Thanks for answering the questions. I just had a couple more. I thought it was easier to speak rather than type them.
Yeah, that's fine.
First one was I did a campaign. It was like a test campaign, and I got quite a good response from it. And what I was thinking was it was more like aimed at first-time buyers, but the people that I contacted, I didn't get a chance to contact everyone because I got quite a lot of leads. But the people I contacted were quite early in their journey. So is it best to approach this from more of a longer term perspective, like to nurture over, let's say, a 3, 6, 9 month period? Or do you need to get the balance between getting immediate and nurturing, or do you have to choose one or the other?
I think you've got to, especially in mortgages, the whole process can take years, can't it, really, depending on where they are. So if they haven't found a house yet, then they're not ready to have a mortgage because it's pointless. I think whenever you do the lead generation campaign, I try and figure out what stage they're at. So if you ask them when are they ready to buy, you could say they're ready to buy the next month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And then depending on the outcome, you can then send them down different funnels. So for those that are ready to buy now, you may want to think about the questions going through their mind. You may want to nurture them further. So if they're ready to buy now, you could ask them, have they found the house? Have they spoken to any mortgage companies? Think about all the questions that you could ask or answer, you need to know, and then take from there. Anyone in terms of sort of longer term, you've got to think about the buying processes. If it's say 3 to 6 months, clearly then they've made a decision that they want to move and they may already have a deposit in place. They're now just about trying to find the right property. So think about what value you can add that way. And don't be afraid to think indirectly as well. It's sometimes a lot of people focus too much on the product, whereas actually the little things, such as sometimes people don't forget, they don't know that they need to look at their life insurance, or don't think about sort of removals and stuff. So anything you can do to add value and stay top of mind in that space is what I'd recommend. And I think you've just got to get the balance right, mate. Facebook groups is a great way if you wanted to build your audience. So when my group's going organically now, which is great, but then it's all about being consistent. So a lot of people think, well, I don't know how much I can talk about mortgages, and you will run out. But actually, you can talk about the whole house buying process, what to do before, during, and after. You can talk about sort of the things related to buying houses, which you don't maybe offer. And there's loads of things you can do. I think the one thing I always think, does it add value to your audience? That kind of ask.
Mhm.
That makes sense, mate.
Yeah, perfectly. The when you were talking about the leading on from that, almost like segmenting the customer. So let's say someone is ready to buy within the next a month to 3 months. What you'd ask them would be different to someone who's further in the journey. Are you splitting that during the campaign? So let's say, for example, you had the messenger bot running a survey, and they click on buying within the next 30 days. Would you then, from that moment onwards, send them down a different route? Or is it once you've collected that, then you divide them up and then you decide what to email each group? At what point are you segmenting it?
I try to segment them the earliest possible point.
As
So
early as possible, okay.
if you've got the first point of contact where you can tag people based on what they filled on that particular. So if you've got, say, name, email, phone number, you ask them a question,
Mm-hmm.
but then tag them based on that response. So that's something you can do in Active Campaign and Zapier. And depending on the tag, let's say it's ready to buy now, 3 months, 6 months, you can create individual sequences in Active Campaign to send them down a different route. So effectively, they're then going to go down their own evergreen sequence related to people who are ready to buy now compared to those who are ready to buy maybe in 3 months' time.
Okay, I get it. And when it comes to contacting them, you're using mainly email. Do you use text message as well? I can't remember if you said so or not.
Yeah, so I think with a lot of our clients, we do email mainly and then sending a text message just to confirm. A lot of our clients just try and use the old-fashioned phone. I think there's a lot of professionals and advisors in this space. They're a bit behind actually in terms of technology and marketing automation.
That's true.
And I guess it's the whole financial advisor space. It's all about getting on the phone and selling yourself that way. And I get it. I think it's a case of understanding think about how you sell currently and say, right, how do I give the same experience digitally without losing the personal touch? Sometimes it's just about, well, if you think about the common questions and the common information you give to every lead on the phone, let's say I'm interested in mortgage, you're going to ask the same things, they're going to have similar objections. You could create that in a video, pre-record it and send them that down the sequence. When you speak to people, they're already kind of warmer and you're not wasting your time. So
I get it.
It's quite a big ask. A lot of advisors are introverts as well. Most people you speak to, it's all taking control of your marketing. It's out of your comfort zone. I'm generalizing, but just kind of what I've gone through as well from my experience.
Okay. Makes sense. Excellent. All right. Thank you.
Cool. Any more, mate? Is that it? Or... Cool. Right, I'm going to name drop. Jeff, Martin, I think you guys are still listening. Do you guys have any more questions? No? Cool. Cool. So the reason for kind of doing this, just really quick Q&A today, was I'm going to be doing a webinar hopefully in a few weeks' time. Want to pull my finger out just to provide a sort of marketing plan for financial advisors based on short, medium, and long term. So I know there's Facebook ads, there's SEO, there's Twitter, there's LinkedIn, there's cold email, there's loads of other things we can do. And I think what I'm keen to do is, although our agency focuses on Facebook ads mainly, but we do Google, we do LinkedIn, we do sort of cold email as well, which we're starting to do. But I'm wanting to see if we could add value. So if you guys have got any thoughts on what you'd like to see in a marketing plan, or even kind of what to do, and ultimately my mission is kind of to help you guys take control over your pipeline and build a lead gen system. And it doesn't cost the earth. I mean, obviously hiring an agency, if you used to hire my agency today, there will be some investment, but you've just got to think about where's best spend your time. But with a lot of my clients, Facebook ads, you only need to spend £300 or £400 a month on Facebook ads to get it going. And if you use management fee as kind of a sunk investment, it's the best way to look at it. I think you've got to see it as an investment as well. But I think what I'm trying to do with the marketing plan is to hopefully provide some advice and guidance on ensuring you guys know where's the best time to spend, or what platforms are the best to use for your channels. And it really comes down to this. If your target audience are using the platform regularly, that's what then you should be there. there's no point creating a Facebook page or a Twitter account or a LinkedIn page or any other platforms if they're not there and using it. Too many people create loads of accounts and platforms and just share their content blindly, whereas actually no one's actually reading and looking. So it's important to really evaluate if your audience is there, then and focus on that. And then it's all about trying to get a response. So if there are no more questions, I just want to round up. Has that been useful, guys? If you could just say yes or no, or let me know what you'd like to see next time. I apologize for not doing this enough. It's just naturally down through growth. I'd love to get your feedback. If not, just leave a comment in the group and we can, take it from there. Cool. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Isaac, for your questions as well. And if you're listening, Martin, great. I guess for those that will be watching the recording, hopefully that's been of value too. And if you'll leave your questions afterwards, I appreciate that not everyone can attend because I'm hoping that you'll be speaking to potential leads and appointments, which makes sense. But let's see how else I can add value to you guys. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care.